Hey everybody, before we get into the show, just want to let you know a couple shows this week actually recorded without the professional stereo microphone. I always want to be sure that I'm giving you your best listening experience. So beyond any education that I try to impart, any research that I found that I thought you may be helpful, I also want to make sure that it's pleasant to listen to. So it is my sincerest apology that a couple of these shows this week will have this intro letting you know that the audio quality is not what we prefer over the past 2,600 plus shows, and we'll make sure that it does not happen in the future. Now, by all means, though, still enjoy the show. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome, everybody. Exciting show here for you today, episode 2652 of the Cabral Concept. All of the research, bunch of studies, they're going to be at stephencabral.com/2652 with the three big takeaways of the day. But today is an exciting show because, as I've been sharing with you, there are going to be so many breakthroughs in the field of life extension and anti-aging over the next 10 to 15 years. Massive breakthroughs that you wouldn't even be able to possibly imagine. And I want to share one with you today that is actually here and now that you probably won't even believe is actually true. So to make sure that it is believable, I'm going to link up all of the research and actually share with you the basis for how this type of science, and it's actually beyond medicine. It's beyond what we are currently doing or have ever been doing for really the last, let's say, 150 years in true conventional based medicine, we'll say. But this goes beyond that. This is not conventional medicine. This is a whole new field of longevity, life extension, age reversal, whatever you want to call it. So they're all the same. This is the future, and the wild things that are taking place in the lab right now are most likely, in my opinion and many of my colleagues, 10 to 15 years maximum away to be able to be used by humans. So I want to share with you, this is a study, it's done out of the Salk Institute, and all of these are done with laboratory mice. So just keep in mind, before any study gets to a human, it's always done typically with mice first. And you want to do that. You want to do mice and then typically animal and then human. And I know that there should be, right, the rights and fair treatment of animals. But I want to give you my perspective. You don't want to do these experiments on humans. You just don't. And you need to learn the science. So laboratory mice is typically where you start. Again, no matter how you feel about that, I get it. I understand. I'm not insensitive to the issue, but we're talking about breakthroughs for people with Alzheimer's, potentially cancer, etc. Anyway, let me get right into it. This is from the Salk Institute, and this is the headline, Turning Back Time. Salk scientists, and it's Salk is S-A-L-K, reverse signs of aging. So here we go. And this is pretty wild. Graying hair, crow's feet, an injury that's taking longer to heal than when we were 20, and we're most likely faced with the inevitable signs of aging. The thought of turning back time is more like a fantasy. But now, scientists at the Salk Institute have found that intermittent expression of genes normally associated with an embryonic state can reverse the hallmarks of old age. This approach, which not only prompted human skin cells in a dish to look and behave young again, also resulted in the rejuvenation of mice with premature aging disease, countering signs of aging and increasing the animal's lifespan by 30%. By the way, if we look at this, increasing human lifespan by 30% would be about an extra 21 to 25 years. taking you up to average life expectancy of about now 100 years old. That is exactly what I keep talking about inside of the high performance health teaching course and certification, that really 100 is the new 75, right? Like that's honestly what it is. Because we're going to be, these things are not science fiction. They're right around the corner. Let me get back into the research. One study shows that aging may not have to proceed in one single direction. Salk's Gene Expression Laboratory and senior author of the paper, appearing in the December issue of Cell, has plasticity, and with careful modulation, aging may be reversed. As people in modern societies live longer, the risk of developing age-related diseases go up. Lots of different talk there. But one clue to halting or reversing aging lies in the study of cellular reprogramming, a process in which the expression of 4 genes, known as the Yamanaka factors, allows scientists to convert any cell into induced pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs. Like embryonic stem cells, iPSCs are capable of dividing indefinitely and becoming any cell type present in the body. It goes on to talk a bit more about this. What I want to do now is share with you the results. So, the experiments showed that rejuvenation was more effective when the therapy was given for a long time, 7 to 10 months for the laboratory mice, starting when the animals were 12 to 15 months old. That's the equivalent to about a 35 to 50 year old human. So just to let you know, because mice are typically living somewhere around 2 years to 3 years, right around there. It depends on actually the type of mice that they use. When older animals, so older mice, the equivalent to 80 years old in human terms, were treated for 1 month, the scientists saw very little impact. So what this tells me is this. Well, let me share with you first. So what they found was dramatic reduction in actual aging of the skin, the kidneys, so a marker for health, as well as graying hair. And I'm going to do a before and after photo. I'll actually show you some of the photos. They were able to reverse the gray hair. They were able to make the skin look, on average, the equivalent to 20 years younger. So that means the skin on your face, the crow's feet, the fine lines, all those things, think back to 20 years ago. That's what they were able to do within about 7 to 10 months. Now, the older the individual is, at least from these mice equivalent studies, the longer it will take. So it seems, at least right now, if they were to try it in humans, it would take somewhere around 6 months to a year in order to achieve the reversal of gray hair, as well as the rejuvenation of the skin back 20 years or more. And if you're older, maybe 65, 70 and beyond, well, it might just take twice as long, right? It's more than likely doable, but it might take twice as long. So it could take, a year to 2 years for you to get a lot of those same effects. And your 20 years would go back, 20 years. So from 80, it would go back to 60. From 50, it goes back to 30. So it's very impressive. And again, this is just the beginning. That's why I want to share with you that this is just the beginning of this research. Now, it's very interesting because they use something that most people have not heard about. And these are called Yamanaka factors, sometimes referred to as Yamanaka genes. What this study didn't tell you, but I'll be doing a follow-up study, one of these I first heard about actually from Dr. David Sinclair, is that when they used all 4 Yamanaka factors, they could not get the results in age reversal that they wanted. But when they used 3 out of the 4 Yamanaka factors is when they began to see this age reversal. So it's them essentially playing and trying different things in the lab to see what actually works. These 4 master genes, I want to share them with you. They're called OCT4, SOX2, KLF4, and CMYC, or just the 4 letters typically for short. Because remember, you're going to start to hear more about this. So I want to make sure that you know, just always in the back of your mind, okay, I've heard this before, got it, I can relate it to this subject, understood what you're talking about. Okay, so here's what it is. They're referred to as OSKM. Those are the 4 Yamanaka factors or Yamanaka genes. named after Kotoshi and Shinya Yamanaka. So what I want to share with you is this. Think of them like stem cells or embryonic cells, that they can actually be changed, converted to whatever cells are needed by the body. In this case, the reversing of aging hair and aging skin. But they very well and may likely be able to be used for repairing the kidneys, liver, brain, or other things as well. And I'm going to be doing a follow-up podcast in just a week or two on the reversal of blindness. And so, yes, it's nice talking about reversing gray hair. It's nice talking about rejuvenating the skin. But can you imagine someone that lost their sight being able to regain it? How monumental would that be if you could regain your sight? And we're talking about, a complete reversal of blindness. And this has already been done. And I want to share that with you in a specific, another special podcast. And the reason is that it really deserves its due, because these are the things that we need to push forward in terms of real science. That it's not just going to be like, yes, looking younger, feeling younger, that's all part of it. There's no doubt about it. But what we are going to be able to do, and I do believe this in the next 10 to 15 years, is be able to one by one start to get rid of a lot of the major health-based concerns that we have in our world today. Much of those exacerbated by aging. Now, again, they all have an underlying root cause, like every single one of them, but age is not just the underlying root cause, meaning age they're considering a disease now because it leads to all these different things, but there still has to be an exacerbating circumstance, right? There's still nutrition, lack of movement, poor sleep, gut-based issues, there's hormonal issues. There's always issues that are the underlying root cause, which leads to greater oxidative stress in the body. And oxidative stress, the best way that I can share with you what that looks like and think about what's going on from the inside out is if you were to cut an apple in half and you were to leave it out on the table, it would start to brown, right? That white flesh would start to turn yellow and brown, and that's the oxidation. Well, that's happening inside of our body when we have poor mitochondrial function or over-exaggerated mitochondrial function. We can't keep inflammation in check. We're eating things like oxidized oils, etc. So again, these are massive breakthroughs in science. We know so much, though, of already being able to slow the aging process. And it is my recommendation, do as much as you can with everything that you can do today in order to keep yourself healthy for the next 10 to 15 years. Because if you do, you're going to be able to take advantage then of these big breakthroughs that dramatically reverse age, dramatically, by most likely 20, 30 years, 20, 30%. There's just no doubt about it. Conference I was just at, probably about a month ago now, everybody's saying the same exact thing. About 25% age reversal is very likely, probably once every decade or so is the breakthrough that they believe is going to happen. So then the obvious question was then, well, in 4 decades, are we going to be able just to complete reversing? So the body begins to age and then you reset it. Begins to age and reset it. And it seems, as crazy as that sounds, it seems like that may actually be achievable. And if we add stem cells then to the picture, well, now we can begin to replace and repair joints and organs and eyesight and maybe even hearing, which is a difficult one that seem to begin to fail the older we get. So I'm excited for this field. This is literally what we teach inside of highperformancehealth.org. You're welcome to check out more about that. But if this interests you, this is just the beginning. So hopefully you found today's show interesting. I'm going to link up these studies if you want to go deeper, and they will be at StephenCabral.com/2652. Take care, everybody, and I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Cabral concept.
Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.